For the first time, we are seeing images of George Floyd, there he is, inside the convenience store just moments before his arrest.
You can't win. I'm not trying to win. I'm not trying to win.
Floyd pleading with the officers.
Don't do me like that, man.
Get in the car.
Okay, can I talk to you, please?
If you get in this car, we can talk.
I am claustrophobic.
In Minneapolis tonight, tensions are high as 4 police officers have been fired after a man was pinned to the ground and died. The incident was caught on camera.
He can be heard on the video saying, "I can't breathe."
It is so hard to watch this. It goes for about 10 minutes and it shows a white police officer with his knee on the back of the neck of a handcuffed black man.
You ain't doing nothing now. Put him in the car.
How long y'all gotta hold him down?
It just goes on and on and on. At the beginning, he's pleading for breath. He's saying he can't breathe, he can't breathe. At one point he says, "Don't kill me," and they seem to be the last words that he utters.
The victim was George Floyd from Minneapolis.
A small group stood outside what they believe is the home of former Minneapolis police officer Derek Chauvin.
Enough is enough. We tired now.
So many people who are here for the protest have actually joined a march towards the Minneapolis Police Department 3rd Precinct, where people here believe the officers involved in that incident who were fired.
Protesters poured onto the street in Minneapolis on Tuesday night.
How would you describe the atmosphere?
Toxic, ready to go. It's just waiting somebody break the camel and it's gonna go down. This could have been my son.
Yeah.
It could have been it could have been me, it could have been my family. It could have been. It's unjust. It shouldn't be. It shouldn't be. It shouldn't be. It shouldn't be.
The protest in Minneapolis was held at the site of the incident. The police then opened tear gas and smoke bombs on the crowd.
State police officers in riot gear, backed by the National Guard, moved in to secure the streets of Minneapolis as fires continued to burn in the morning hours. Last night, protesters set fire to the police station where the 4 officers involved in the arrest of George Floyd worked before they were fired. It was one of many fires set in the city, including this building that partially collapsed. There has also been widespread looting. Corboy Vala had to fend off looters who tried to steal the safe from his sports bar.
Black women! Black women! Black people! Black people! We!
A lot of tension and conflict between the protesters and the police force out last night, Seattle Police Department.
They marched down to the police headquarters, still peaceful. They sort of went around. The police would not let them near the headquarters. Eventually, they started breaking the windows of the Amazon right next door. The police started pushing them back. They started pepper spraying them.
Dozens and dozens of people out last night, and we know today we are expecting at least 2 more demonstrations in the daytime, one at noon and one at 3 o'clock.
Initially kind of came in and, said, hey, we're going to have to start moving people. And then a couple other people came in and we were like,
police to be held accountable for their actions. We're not going without no justice, no peace. No peace. No justice, no peace.
What's the message you wanted people to hear today?
A strong, firm message that we're not going to take our black men and women being murdered by police, and that something has to change. And I feel like this is something that was so unbelievable and unimaginable that I think we are going to be heard.
The city of Seattle estimated 4,000 people marched on Saturday, but it looked like a lot more. This had been my first protest in almost a decade, My daughter-in-law is black. My grandchildren will be black. The cries of George Floyd were the cries of her, of my progeny. Historically, protesters have tried to march on I-5, but police would block access to the highway. City and state police officers pulled back, and thousands spilled onto the freeway. Others continued to march towards Westlake. Just under the surface, the same toxic stew in Minneapolis was brewing in Seattle. The camel's back was about to break.
I want you to see it, and Winston said, I want you to share it. It's firecrackers. It was firecrackers.
Tear gas down the hill.
There is a huge group of people running down from the other direction here. And the tear gas is starting to roll up the hill, so we're going to roll down this way. I don't know what happened because we were under the bridge. All right, those are flashbang grenades. And they were to our west, southwest. That's not thunder. Yeah. We're kind of getting squeezed into the tear gas cloud here.
Just frustrated people out here with some of these clashes with police. And keep in mind, this is just a block down the road from where that peaceful protest was going on over at the Westlake Center.
There were at least 4, possibly 5 police cruisers destroyed by flames. So that was the scene a little bit ago, and it's just an inferno.
Yeah, the police line has been moving very swiftly up through Westlake. We've actually seen some SPD officers spray some OC, possibly some tear gas, and the line is moving very quickly. As police have begun to move the line, they have said numerous times, reminding about the curfew.
Seattle police responded with a heavy hand on Saturday. It had the opposite effect, as curfews and tear gas only brought more people to the streets.
The crowds go home, saying that it's time to go.
Brian, things have escalated quickly in terms of crowd size. There are thousands of people here in Seattle on what is the 6th day in a row of protesting. Now,
Seattle police put a line in the sand at 11th and Pine, 1 block from the East Precinct. The area became known as the Western Barricade, and the number of protesters marching to Capitol Hill was doubling every day. A nation isolated by COVID became riveted to its screens, watching the events unfold in the palms of their hands.
And the reason they have these umbrellas is not because it's raining in Seattle. It is because they are guarding against possible pepper spray and tear gas. And that is exactly what happened last night. It was a very peaceful, very large protest, and then it devolved very quickly. Now, the police has been criticized in recent days for saying that these are riots.
Over the last week, thousands across Seattle have come together to raise their voices, share their anger and grief, and to demand justice, not just for George Floyd or Breonna Taylor, but for all of those who have lost their lives before them. I am thankful for these demonstrators for sharing their voices, for demanding more from all of us in a position of power, including myself and the Chief of Police.
And last night, in the face of the rocks and bottles and projectiles, your police officers demonstrated restraint and they didn't use any force. The community needs to know that as your police chief, I will speak out and I will condemn officers who abuse their power, and I will hold them accountable.
Say her name!
Seattle protests to end racial inequality now in its 2nd week.
We need to stop just talking about it.
Community leaders are making sure the city hears their specific demands.
All of this momentum has been amazing, but we now need people to understand what it is we're asking for.
One of the biggest changes this rally calls for is investment in Black communities.
It's evident people in Seattle are outraged by George Floyd's death in Minneapolis, and emotional protesters marched through the streets of downtown on Friday. This heated demonstration kicks off a weekend of protests against police brutality. The city's hoping this weekend's protests play out more peacefully, because while tensions may be high, we are in the midst of a pandemic.
Chief Best also ordered officers to move mourning bands to make sure it does not cover badge information.
And the scene at Westlake Center tonight, just a little snippet of what you can expect out here tomorrow.
So if you're just tuning in, we're at the Doctors for Justice March.
Jenny Durkin. Can you hear us? Dale Constantine.
Can you hear us?
Jay Inslee.
Can you hear us?
When I say power to the people, you say all power to the people. Power to the people.
All power to the people.
If there was one moment where I became galvanized, this would be it. I had filmed from this spot for hours, and without warning, a dozen riot officers approached me.
To be at the site all day today. They said it's been okay for here to be all day today. I've been over. You see me, man. I've been here for a second. Here.
Yeah, just stay on that side and we're cool. Not a problem, okay?
Yeah, right. We're good. So the National Guard has been deployed. This is America. This is your country. This is your city. If you love your nation, if you love the Constitution, if you believe in basic rights and freedom for all citizens, you need to be here.
Seattle Police Department, you're committed to peacefully doing this. Please move back.
Like the previous 5 days, officers on the Western Barricade were tapped out, and new officers wearing gas masks moved to the line. Protesters moved the barricade about 5 feet, but were otherwise peaceful. SPD was just looking for an excuse.
I don't know if they're doing flashbangs or they're doing tear gas. I don't know. flashbangs. One just went off maybe 15 feet from me. You might have even caught that in the camera. One just went off about 10 feet away from me.
They're dropping us in!
So what they're doing now is they're trying to box us in. So they're basically, what SPD is doing right now with their bikes is they are pushing the people into the flashbang grenades. SPD is actively pushing the people into the line of fire. If I wasn't here seeing this, I wouldn't believe this.
Oh, yeah. Department. We're giving an order to disperse.
Right? They are pushing us into the line of fire. So in other words, the flashbangs are going off behind me, and I'm being pushed into them. And now they've deployed tear gas. So they've pushed the people into the tear gas. My eyes are burning.
The injured headed west towards Broadway and the medic station located in the outdoor dining area of Rancho Bravo. There was anger, disbelief, and confusion. What people didn't know is that the police and National Guard had a plan, and that plan was to push everyone west of Broadway.
Really gotten big. Water! We need water! You gotta tilt your head back. You gotta tilt your head back. Open your eyes.
I'm sailing. I'm sailing. Hey, this is sailing. This is sailing. I got this. Fuck you guys! Okay.
You're gonna be okay.
Hey, I have saline. Does she need an eye wash?
Yeah, she
Here,
does.
come with me.
Let's go. I'll help you, bro. I got her on one side. Let's go.
You'll be all right. You'll be good. You'll be good.
You're gonna be okay. You're gonna be okay. We're not gonna let anything happen to you. We're not gonna let anything happen to you. You're gonna be okay. They are continuing to set off tear gas. There is a medic station. I'm not gonna show faces there because police in other cities have been targeting people at the medic stations. And now what's happening is they are still throwing flashbangs and tear gas.
It was OC being deployed, and people blinded and gasping for breath kept streaming by me. On a battlefield, this would be considered a war crime, overrunning a medical station. But this wasn't a battlefield. This was an American city, and a civilian police force had declared war on its citizens.
It appears that, the aid station here is in danger, and I think I'm at the point I want to help move patients, because that's the priority at the moment.
They're moving in. You guys are gonna have to move this whole shit.
That's right.
This whole shit's gotta go. See, you guys are slowing down. You guys gotta.
They're not gonna stop. We gotta start moving them out. We've gotta move her. I'm gonna help her. I'm the same guy that helped you. Do you remember my voice? You remember my voice? I'm not gonna let anything happen to you. Do you understand? But you gotta keep moving. You gotta be strong, you gotta be brave, okay? Are you with me? Just squeeze my hand. That's how I know you're with me. I'm not gonna let anything happen to you. Don't let go of my hand. Just keep moving, you gotta keep moving. All right? I know this is hard. Squeeze my hand if you understand. Okay, I got you. I'm not gonna let anything happen to you. I will put my body between you and anything. I won't let anything happen to you.
Fuck Jenny Durkin!
Did anything rise to this level of this massive show of force? And the answer to that is no.
The response seemed too quick to escalate, and too quick to deploy flashbangs, pepper spray, and the deployment of the National Guard.
The standoff situation at the East Precinct is like nothing I've ever seen before. The East Precinct has become a dangerous flashpoint.
It's an area that has bedeviled law enforcement as protests wear on,
significantly reducing the number of officers that are both on the line and in the immediate area.
After meeting with protesters, Black Lives Matter representatives, and faith leaders, Mayor Durkin says she'll issue an emergency order requiring officers to wear body cameras during protests. Officers who cover their badges, she says, will be punished.
Things got heated between the protesters as well as officers.
Just hours after Mayor Durkin and Chief Best said they would take steps to de-escalate, Capitol Hill once again became shrouded in clouds of tear gas. Officers fired a flashbang grenade directly into the chest of an unarmed stationary protester, almost killing her.
Yesterday as well, and disputes this claim from Seattle police and said things were peaceful throughout the night and no one was throwing anything. There used to be a police officer barricade, of officers standing on the other side of that barricade. They shut that down about an hour ago. Now they're just those 3 Seattle police vehicles.
We're learning that officers received an email from the assistant chief that said that the decision has been made to allow demonstrators to march past the East Precinct today, which goes to show why they're working so hard right now to try to fortify that building. We know that the Seattle Fire Department has also been working to look at the fire suppression.
We're not going to evacuate or abandon the East Precinct. We will be hardening the East Precinct facility by boarding up the exterior windows, having the Seattle Fire Department evaluate the fire suppression systems, and applying fire retardants to the building exterior and installing fencing. This is an exercise in trust and de-escalation.
City of Seattle came in, boarded up, fenced off, put in these concrete barriers. They put in some water-filled barriers that have basically all already been moved.
Seattle police abandoned the East Precinct, and for about an hour, no one knew what to expect. Then it became clear. Protesters were not going to let anyone harm the East Precinct building.
If you see a person of color being targeted by violence, we demand that you step in and help them. We need to make sure that we are not unfairly blamed for any damages to this building, to the Seattle Police Department. We demand that if you see somebody vandalizing this building, you record them so that they can be held accountable for their own personal actions.
Yeah!
Seattle councilperson Sawant started to address the crowd, but she was stopped when it started to sound more like a campaign speech. She was then challenged to explain her stand on defunding or abolishing the police.
I will give you an answer. And if you know anything about me and my organization, Socialist Alternative, what you will know is that you may not agree with us on certain things. You may agree with us on certain things, you may disagree. But what you will always get from us is honesty. I'm not going to bullshit you. Okay? That's the starting point.
Okay, wait. So I gotta, listen y'all, hold up. I'm doing this for a reason. So look, Horace Mann, right? What about those demands? Sorry.
The racial stereotyping shocked the crowd. The man, who went by the street name Magic, would never hold a microphone and chop again.
That's the reason you will not catch me saying abolish police or defunding 100%. Not because I don't believe in it, but because I know what it will take to win it. So let's, and another item of no bullshit. Winning 50% defund is going to be goddamn hard.
The fear that entire blocks of Seattle would be burned to the ground were unfounded. Instead, a 6-block area became a place to teach, to learn, and to share.
Black Lives Matter! I'm Nikita Oliver. I'm hosting today. What's good? I'm going to be hosting today with the homie Roby 3. Shout out Roby 3. As black folks, we know that our struggle against white supremacy, against capitalism, against patriarchy, against this oppressor is inextricably intertwined with our native relatives.
I want to update you all on the situation at the East Precinct. The decision to board up the precinct, our home, the first precinct I worked in, was something I have been holding off. You should know, leaving the precinct was not my decision. You fought for days to protect it. I asked you to stand on that line, day in and day out, to be pelted with projectiles, to be screamed at, threatened, and in some cases hurt. Then to have a change of course nearly 2 weeks in, it seems like an insult to you and our community. Ultimately, the city had other plans for the building and relented to severe public pressure. I'm angry about how this all came about. I understand that my comments in this message may be leaked to the public, but I'm not concerned about that. I stand by what I'm saying. We had solid information to believe that anti-government groups would destroy the precinct once we left, whether through vandalism or arson.
Right now, it's entirely peaceful. In fact, you can see these protesters behind me. And in fact, let's pan the camera around, Chris, because it really has the feel of a street festival. They're serving food down there. They're giving out free food. There's medical tents. People are camping out. They have movies at night. There's live music.
Durkin said she's in no big rush to reclaim the spot, even though the chief said she wants to put officers back in the precinct.
A new war was brewing, a war of words. Within City Hall, leaders disagreed with each other, and in the White House, a president sought to make Seattle part of his campaign platform.
Continue to protest peacefully while also getting ingress and egress.
Yet the mayor said she made the call to remove barriers, which had been the site of violent confrontations.
I think it was the right decision. I think it is clear that the removing the barriers was critical to removing the flashpoint.
Call in the National Guard, call me. We'll have so many people, more people than you have to dominate the streets. You can't let what's happening happen. It's called dominate the street.
So I think he says dominate because he totally does not understand what is happening in America, and he is desperately trying to start the old fights and the old divisions that put him in power in the first place.
How long do you think Seattle in those few blocks looks like this?
I don't know. We could have the summer of love.
Their message is straightforward, that police should stay away. Here's what President Trump said about that in a new interview.
If they don't straighten that situation out, we're going to straighten it out.
And what do you mean by that?
What I mean is very simple. We're not going to let Seattle be occupied by anarchists. The woman, I don't know, has she ever done this before? How can you?
In Seattle.
Oh, it's pathetic. No, we're not going to let this happen in Seattle. If we have to go in, we're going to go in.
Right to challenge authority and government is fundamental to who we are as Americans.
The building is renamed the Seattle People Department, and the 6 blocks surrounding it have been dubbed Capitol Hill Autonomous Zone.
The people recognize that this building is the people's. You know, we pay for it with our taxes.
Surrounded by barricades, police aren't allowed, while demonstrators hold meetings, set up clinics, and offer free food.
We didn't get our taco trucks in every corner, but darn it, we have tacos in the Chaz. And SPD is gone. And I stood here on Monday contemplating what did this strip of road up here symbolize. And now what we have here is just something completely amazing. He's like, hello, human. Oh, yes. Oh, my goodness. Look at this face, malcontents. If you don't know what this can't stoop thing, I think that was Raz giving an interview there. Gregory, I do. Can't stoop is in reference to a Donald Trump tweet. There's your violence in the Chaz. We have a dog barking.
Hey, dog! Our street! Whose streets? Our street! Whose streets? Our street! Black Lives Matter!
It's like going through the turnstiles.
Black Lives Matter! Black Lives Matter!
Or I'm not a leader. I'm just a black person that's tired of going through shit. I don't want to be the leader. I don't want to be none of that.
I am right here on the very, very edge of CHOP, and we'll do a walkthrough because there's been some significant changes that have happened in the area. The city of Seattle, the fire department, police department, and mayor's office, working with a loose coalition of organizers, as there are no leaders, agreed to modify the footprint of Chaz to enable vehicle traffic for deliveries to business so that they could get right to the doors, and police and fire access for emergencies.
No racist police! No justice! No peace! No racist police!
Who stood, struggled, and died for us before we even knew about this struggle. And so today I say, you stand on the shoulders of many ancestors, and with this many people in the room, tell your ancestors, this is a new day. You know, we don't really care about the love. We don't mind. Yeah, we'd like you to love us, but what we demand is that you respect us. On behalf of our ancestors, I remember George Floyd. I remember Charlene Lyles. I remember Shay Taylor. I remember Tamir Rice. I remember Mike Brown. I remember all of those black children and young people who died at the hands of the police. I remember all the people who were in these streets.
Protest organizers asked that on Juneteenth, only black videographers cover the events in CHOP. My producer asked me to go to Jimi Hendrix Park in the Rainier Valley. In the evening, when our team was done, we were exhausted but celebratory. If CHOP had an apex, the early evening hours of June 19 would be it. But our joy would be short-lived.
What's going on? What's happening?
Well, one victim remains in critical condition at Harborview Medical Center. Police tell us this is an ongoing investigation. Representatives from CHOP sent us a statement saying the altercation may have previous history, as it seems the situation escalated because of gang affiliations. They blamed standard operating procedure for any delay in medical treatment because ambulance crews waited for police to secure the scene. They went on to say no one within CHOP denied entry to PD within any organizational capacity.
For nearly 2 weeks, people have been gathering on Capitol Hill. Many are there to continue their protest, to build community and demand change. Over the days, tens of thousands of people have peacefully gathered or visited Capitol Hill. During the day, there have been no major incidents, but we know it is very different at night, particularly in recent nights. The cumulative impacts of the gatherings and protests and the nighttime atmosphere and violence has led to increasingly difficult circumstances.
I still have 2 bullets in me.
DeJuan Young remembers seeing the aftermath of the first unrelated shooting early Saturday at the Capitol Hill Occupied Protest Zone, or CHOP, that claimed the life of 19-year-old Lorenzo Anderson. He said he was nearby at 11th and Pike, outside of CHOP, when the group approached him.
The verbiage that they said was, "Hold this," and shot me. I got shot outside the protest zone, and you still didn't respond.
DeJuan told us SPD's handling of the shooting from the beginning
I'm scared.
has him worried about how it will end.
Hey there, Malcontents. This here is the Malcontent. How's everybody doing? And welcome. We are at Capitol Hill and Seattle CHOP. In any quest for change, you have to win hearts and minds. And of course, with everything that's been going on, hearts and minds have not been won. I was talking to somebody who, was on the security team, and there's frustration that's been expressed that I agree with in the frustration department, that the attempt to open things up and kind of create these access lanes has really backfired, because what they turned out to be is these are turned into shooting lanes, and that's what people have been using them for. Yeah, I guess I fall into that camp. Most people, as I said, are in Cal Anderson Park. It's undeniable. The tenor and the tone has changed. The atmosphere has changed. The mission hasn't changed.
It is time for people to go home. Those were the words of the mayor of Seattle.
It is hard to answer very simple questions about what is going on here because it is a complex situation with a lot of layers to it. I was really struck when I walked up to the zone from this side and saw this list of demands here.
I know you're tired, but the time is today. The time is right now to apply the wrath of God and apply the pressure of unity from a united people of all color that understands when wrong is wrong and right is right. I know you're tired of justifying why Black Lives Matter in a system where Black lives are treated with no rights. All lives cannot matter if there is no matter for Black lives. I know every single one of you is tired, but we, together collectively, we will not stop fighting.
March with us! We're not done yet! We're not done yet! March with us! March with us! We're not done yet! We're not done yet! Out of your homes and into the streets! Out of your homes and into the streets! Out of your homes and into the streets! Out of your homes and into the streets!
None of these demands are negotiable. We will go to their houses. Yeah. We will be at their front doors. Yeah. Every council member, the mayor, even the governor. Feel me? We don't give a fuck. We need to make it happen. That's all I have to say.
This is the march that went from Capitol Hill to the West Precinct and now to Interstate 5. So I guess my understanding is the highway is closed for 10 miles.
SDOT crews arrived early this morning to continue dismantling CHOP, but protesters would not let them do the work. One person lay in the street, others sat on barricades. The crews backed off, waiting for a signal that they could return.
What do you think is the future of the CHOP? Do you think it's necessary for this movement?
Yes. I think that a lot of people want to just dismantle it because of all of the negativity that it's received and just all of the seeming lack of direction, or the multitude of agendas that are out there and the lack of organization. But I think that we're all here, talking about CHOP. People are getting paid to document CHOP. People are flying from Canada to check on CHOP. So there is clearly a bunch of power here, and I think that leverage is important. So Do I want to stand out here and be a CHOP warrior all day? No. Do I want people to start associating me with that and forgetting about, why we're even out here and start, and just make it about CHOP? No. Do I think people being out here and protesting? I mean, maybe even delete the name and, we're out here protesting. I think that it is important because it's just shown that it is. It's shown that this has got results. For better or for worse, there have been results. And people are watching, the world is watching, and that's what people wanted. That's what most of the protesters wanted, the world to watch, and then accountability to be had. And they knew that the accountability wouldn't be had if the world wasn't watching, if there wasn't a PR battle being had, if they didn't need to clean up the PR, and we didn't have the leverage as people for them to try and be like, okay, actually now we can't just do whatever we want. It's not under covers. We have to start addressing these issues. So I think just like walking away because the mayor says, all right, guys, I think it's time to go home now. It's been a good run. You can't do that.
Almost kind of
Even though I don't want to be out here, now it makes me want to be like, all right, well, you can't do that. Yeah.
Now you want to be.
But especially because she began it saying that, she defended CHOP and said that it was a love fest. It's more like a love fest.
Summer of love.
Summer of love.
Yeah.
But then following it up with saying, okay, kids, it's time to go home. Now that makes that first statement so more disingenuous, so more condescending.
You're fucking fascist. She rolled down the window and said, love the shoes. Sure. And rolled it up. And that was kind of fierce. I'm kind of mad.
Would you not in that tone, just to say what you would have said to her, other than?
No, I probably, if I had the chance, I would have hurt her. I think she deserves that.
Yeah.
She's a fascist.
She's absolutely hurt us.
She has hurt us. She has used chemical warfare against us. We're out here every day.
Seattle Fire Chief Harold Scoggins exited a closed-door meeting with the leaders of the Capitol Hill occupied protest zone and was soon tailed by protesters still angry with Seattle police over the deadly shooting here last weekend.
The fire department, I love you guys. The ambulance, I love you guys. But they are making your jobs harder, and you need to hold them accountable for that.
Raz, don't fuck with me. Don't play me like that. I've been out here every year at that fucking co-op, and you weren't fucking ever in front of it. So
I'm not a part of the co-op.
I know, but then why are your people filming a thing?
There's no co-op to film. This is not about the co-op.
So why is Durkin is about to, in Kumbaya, make a permanent space for the co-op that is run by your people. Not weird? Not fucking weird, Raz?
We heard Chief Best. We heard Chief Best talking about how she wanted to reimagine policing. We hear the mayor talking about how she wants to change things. It's up to the citizens of the city of Seattle to hold the politicians accountable. So if there's no accountability, I don't think there'll be change.
On Saturday, June 27th, protests continued throughout the city. Thousands marched to the South Precincts where right-wing protesters were waiting and attempted to disrupt the speeches being made by black leaders and black people. This had become a common theme throughout Seattle as the days turned into weeks in the summer of 2020.
For all black lives, for black disabled lives, for the lives of black folks of all marginalized genders, for black lives who have been destroyed by the criminal punishment system, for the black youth and the failure of the public education system, for black sex workers, for black undocumented folks held in the camps. Rise up and shout that all black lives matter! All black lives matter! Thank you.
Yeah.
barricades remained untouched all over the zone, but city equipment could arrive Sunday to start clearing some. The mayor suggested a series of steps that she believes can be taken in the coming days, including the removal of the barriers to create more access. She also believes in the planning for some of the long-term changes to Cal Anderson, including art installations and the community garden. It went on to say that police would not be back here this weekend.
What the protesters have done is they have cut the hooks on the concrete blocks. 1 second. It's a garbage truck. It's funny, like a truck comes and like everybody just kind of like stops and looks. We're just kind of waiting and wondering if SDOT, when they're coming, if they're going to be coming. I would have guessed they would have come in the morning, just because I think, you know, there's less people around. It's going to be easier for them. But no idea if they're going to be coming or not.
That this demonstration started at Magnuson, then was joined by another group that had been marching near UW. Councilmember Shama Sawant was also here at this rally and spoke to the crowd, listing their demands and calling on Mayor Durkin to resign. Now, it is not clear when the decision was made or how it was made to make their way towards the mayor's home, but here's an organizer explaining the reason for doing so.
We came down to Jenny Durkin's mansion to bring the demands of the movement and of the families who have been impacted by police violence to her doorstep, as she seems to not be able to hear our demands any other way.
When you look here, there is a fair number of tents. There's certainly more tents here than what there was a few days ago. Zoom in here is behind these aren't tents that people are staying in. This is kind of like food and meeting spaces and stuff. On the other side of there's really no more tents on that side than there's probably ever been at any point of this.
And I heard a lot of commotion, people calling for the ambulance, and I worked my way over here and saw two male individuals on the floor. Both of them were unconscious at the time, and they were both suffering from gunshot wounds.
Absolutely, we want people to move out of the area. Continue, your peaceful demonstration in a place where you're not affecting public safety. I have said this multiple times. It is taking us 3.5 times longer to get here. We have a fire station that is less than 2 blocks from here that cannot go into this area.
I asked for someone for a tourniquet, and I immediately placed a tourniquet on one of the male's upper arm. He had a gunshot wound to his upper left bicep, both the entry and exit wound. He also had a upper thigh left gunshot wound, and I applied a hemostatic bandage wrap to the leg. And we laid him all across our laps in the back seat and drove him to the nearest trauma center.
I don't get my consent.
Here we go. Found a sign. I love this. Daddy changed the world. I posted some things. Mississippi wouldn't be getting rid of their state flag if it wasn't for George Floyd. 2,000 Reddit groups filled with hate and racism wouldn't have been yanked down if it wasn't for George Floyd. You wouldn't have this advertiser ban that's coming up starting tomorrow on Facebook if it wasn't for George Floyd. On June 6th, which is one of the days that pepper spray and all this other stuff was deployed, while all the screaming and yelling and the police and the squaring off was going on, this artwork was actually being painted. The dude was hired by this company, Stout, to come in and paint over these boards and create not all of the artwork you hear, but to kind of do these African flag colors of the red, black, and green. And so you had this guy painting
while there were thousands of protesters here, and probably 60 people from Seattle Police and another 60 to 100 people of the National Guard backing them up. It was like, and I was live streaming at the time, and I was like, this is dystopian. I know Mayor Durkin has said that they were going to maintain these gardens after this is over. Right now, my view on Mayor Durkin is I'll believe it when I see it. Here, there's tomatoes, there's corn. As a matter of fact, this actually looks like what they call a 3 sisters or a 4 sisters plot. I mean, this is just, look at this. I'm in shock. I mean, you'd think I was at some local farmer's market or something here. This is really amazing what has been set up back here. The fist is still here.
You and I talked a little bit yesterday. Our security team, they are the runners, making sure that our spaces are safe. You don't. They are regular bikes, bitch. That's what they are. You don't get to tell me. You don't get to tell me what kind of bikes my people are fucking riding. What I'm telling you, it's an expression. I call her a bitch. Bitches are tired. It's my friend.
If we kind of look over here through the fence right now, where the garden area is, same thing. There is a lot less tense than were here on Friday of last week. If you and I talked, we would probably agree up to 80% on the disease and the symptoms. Where we're not going to agree is the cure.
Right.
But if we sat and had a reasonable conversation, we'd probably get to 50 to 60% on the cure.
Man, I like
and
that.
sometimes you were going to stand back and go, holy shit, you know what? These bastards in charge are using that 40% that we don't agree with against us, so that we don't get together and fix their shit.
Oh, yeah.
Now, this morning, an executive order came from the mayor basically executing this operation.
You have 5 minutes to disperse.
I want you guys to picture your daughter's faces on mine right now.
See just the level of buildup that the police have done to stay in this zone. Apparently, there were some bigger vehicles that they brought in. We've heard about a deployment of pepper spray.
Once the protesters were gone, the cleanup began. Chief Carmen Best and officers went back into the East Precinct, and this is the first time they have been inside there since the 8th.
Some of the leadership is to try to find enough concessions from the city to get things like slashing the police budget, to get things like ending qualified immunity, and just more reforms in the city. But some of the protesters really wanted to keep the precinct as long as possible.
Very important. But he said that his producer...
I told her, I just walked up and she said she'd give me a few extra minutes,
Twitter user Eli Grady shared this video of SPD making an arrest last night around 5:30. He's bothered by that tackle and the position of the officer's knee.
Hey, what the fuck?
Carter shot and tweeted this video this morning. He says Seattle police would not allow him to go to his apartment without showing ID.
I can either have a diatribe out there.
Officer, please.
Or I can walk you with ID to your location.
Officer, the thing is that I don't have ID. Or I can arrest you for
being in here illegally. What would you rather?
I don't have an ID because I don't have a driver's license.
Wow, this exploded fast. I don't know exactly what caused this, but SPD, as I was just kind of setting up, pushed back hard on the line.
July 2nd was chaotic on Broadway. Distrust among protesters was in the air. People who hadn't been seen in days or weeks suddenly reappeared, and differing agendas started to emerge.
Let them waste our money. You all look fucking dumb. Dumb as fuck. They're not gonna arrest shit. They're stupid.
There's the 12th Precinct building. Right there. Lights are on. This isn't by any means over. You know, that there's all sorts of protests that have fanned out across the city. If people had relatives calling them, you know, like, oh my God, I heard Seattle's burning down. Are you okay? What do you do? Do you need help? And seriously, we were all like going, what the hell are you talking about? This is what CHOP looks like. Here's the real story. Anybody that told you, like, you know, the city is in flames, it's going to take forever to rebuild stuff, the whole area has been destroyed, what is like, as you can see, most of the graffiti has already been washed away. Diaz Love was, wait. On I-5, people were hit on the freeway? Oh, for fuck's sake. So the people were hit in the southbound lanes.
They already know who did it and
Yeah, they caught him.
Oh, they've already caught him.
already caught him?
Yeah.
King County Metro said that both lanes of freeway were closed, north and south, that they do have barricades, much like the ones up here, where the BPD or SP or the Highway Patrol is blocking off the barricades. So somehow a vehicle made its way onto the freeway, came at an incredibly high speed, and what it did was they had two vehicles with the march that were blocking.
Right, because they have the vehicles.
They're follow vehicles, right. Well, the car made its way around one, still going at least 50, 60 miles per hour, and then fishtailed it and then just smashed into everyone here in the median, and they went flying up and landed in the middle lane of traffic, actually.
We were down by the East Precinct. Yeah, we were down by the East Precinct when we saw it happening, and we ran up
the Union Dearborn HOV
East
sign.
Precinct. We were waiting for the marchers to come back.
What we know right now, 3 people hit. Concrete Media, Converge Media were both on the road. The driver of the vehicle is in custody that did this crime. The driver intentionally hit the protesters. The protesters were actually not even on in a travel lane. They were in the median. They were over here, apparently, about where this police cruiser is. And the driver went around not only the police barricades, but the protesters organized and have vehicles come up, and the state police are aware of this, to also be block vehicles. What we're told is, and I guess what happened in the video, and I haven't seen the video yet, is the vehicle came around the stopped vehicles here, then swerved to about where this police cruiser is to intentionally hit the protesters.
I guess in the big scope of things, there is good news. 2 people hit. I watched the video. Sorry. It's hard to watch.
Summer season. Oh yeah. Summer season. Oh yeah. Summer season. Oh yeah. Summer season. Oh yeah. Summer season. Oh yeah.
Jenny Durkin. Can you hear us? Dale Constantine.
Can you hear us?
Jay Inslee.
Can you hear us?
When I say power to the people, you say all power to the people. Power to the people.
All power to the people.
Power to the people.
Malcontent News is a team of journalists, activists, and researchers with 3 key missions. A commitment to show an unfiltered view of the before, during, and after of key events, live, as it happens. To defend the First Amendment using our rights of a free press. And to amplify the voices of underrepresented individuals including Black, Indigenous, persons of color, and the LGBTQIA+ community. Our team is committed to seeking equality for all and holding those in power accountable. The easiest way to support Malcontent News is to bookmark our website at malcontentnews.com, like and follow us on Facebook, subscribe to us on YouTube, and follow us on Twitter, TikTok, Twitch, Instagram, and in the Google News app. To provide financial support, you can become a patron, make a one-time donation through Venmo, or link your Twitch account to your Amazon Prime account and use your free subscription to subscribe to Malcontent News. Thank you for supporting independent journalism and for being a malcontent.